They call Nevada the empty state. But whoever said that has never stood still long enough to hear what the desert is actually saying. Out here, silence isn't empty. It's alive. It hums through the sand, drifts with the wind, and hides stories most people never take the time to uncover. When you first enter Nevada, it doesn't greet you with noise or color. It greets you with distance, endless sun-baked land stretching so far that the horizon almost seems to bend. Most travelers rush through, eyes locked on Las Vegas, where neon lights promise fortune and escape. But beyond the casinos and chaos lies a side of Nevada that few ever see. A place of ghost towns and ancient valleys, of stone that remembers the ocean, and mountains that outlasted empires. You start in the south, where the Colorado River cuts deep through Black Canyon walls. Rising above it is one of humanity's greatest acts of defiance against nature, the Hoover Dam. Even before you reach it, you feel its presence. The air changes, heavier somehow, as if the canyon itself is holding its breath. This was no easy creation. During the Great Depression, thousands of men came here desperate for work. They built through heat, hunger, and exhaustion, hanging from ropes hundreds of feet above the river. Some didn't live to see the end. But what they created changed everything. Hoover Dam doesn't just hold back water, it holds back chaos. It gave power to millions, birthed modern Las Vegas, and turned desert into city. The polished concrete still gleams in the sunlight. The turbines still roar beneath your feet. Standing here, it's impossible not to feel small, and somehow proud of what people can do when there's nothing left but willpower. Leaving the dam, you follow the road north through the desert. The land glows orange, then deep red, until the rocks themselves seem to burn under the sunlight. This is the Valley of Fire, where the earth looks alive. Wind-sculpted cliffs twist into strange shapes, elephants, waves, cathedrals. When the sun hits at just the right angle, the stone glows like embers. But the real marvel lies in the carvings that cover them, petroglyphs left thousands of years ago by the ancestral Puebloans. You can still trace them with your fingers, spirals, hunters, desert sheep. Nobody knows exactly what they mean, but you can feel they were never random. These were people who understood the land, who lived in rhythm with the heat, the stars, and the scarce water. When the desert wind whistles through the canyons, it almost sounds like their voices echoing back through time. Not far away, the rocks change again. You reach Red Rock Canyon, a wall of color and time standing just outside Las Vegas. Layers of sandstone rise like a frozen ocean wave, telling a story older than human memory. Scientists say these cliffs were once part of the seafloor. Fossils of ancient coral and seashells still hide in the stone, reminders that long before it was a desert, this land was alive with water. The deeper you walk into the canyon, the quieter it gets. The air cools, the world narrows, and every sound, your breath, your footsteps, the crunch of gravel, feels magnified. It's not silence. It's the earth whispering slowly, reminding you how long it's been watching. Further north, the desert stretches wider and emptier until something strange breaks the horizon. Ruins. At first you think it's a mirage, but it's real. Crumbling walls, an old train depot, and the famous bottle house made entirely of glass bottles. This is Rhyolite, a ghost town born in gold and buried by time. In 1905, this was the fastest growing city in Nevada. Streets lined with banks, hotels, and electric lights. People believed the desert would make them rich. For a few years it did. Then the gold ran out, and so did the people. By 1916, Rhyolite was empty, left to the wind and dust. Now the silence here feels heavy, like the land remembers what it cost to build all this. The glass bottles glint under the sun, catching light like trapped memories. And as the sky fades pink, you can almost hear the last train that ever left this place. From Rhyolite, the road winds east toward Nevada's hidden masterpiece, Great Basin National Park. Most travelers never find it. Maybe that's why it still feels untouched. The air turns crisp, the mountains rise higher, and suddenly the desert gives way to forests of pine and aspen. This park is home to some of the oldest living beings on Earth, the bristlecone pines. They look ancient, twisted, and gnarled, their bark silver and smooth. Some are over 4,000 years old. That means they were already alive when the pyramids were new. They've survived everything: droughts, lightning, fire, centuries of cold. Touching one feels like shaking hands with time itself. And then there are the Lehman caves beneath your feet. Deep inside the mountain, the air is cool and damp. Every surface glistens with mineral deposits, stalactites, stalagmites, flowstone that looks like marble curtains. It took millions of years to shape them, one drop of water at a time. In that darkness, you realize how patient the earth is, how much can happen when no one is watching. When you finally emerge, the sky above is so clear, it takes your breath away. The stars here aren't dots. They're rivers of light, bright enough to cast shadows on the ground. You remember that Nevada's real show isn't the Strip's neon glow. It's this. A sky untouched by time or pollution, ancient and infinite. From there, the highway curves west again toward the mountains, and suddenly the desert gives way to water, clear, cold, and impossibly blue. Lake Tahoe. Split between Nevada and California, it's one of the deepest and oldest lakes in North America. Beneath its glassy surface, the water runs over 1,600 feet deep, deeper than the Empire State Building is tall. The Washoe people called it the Oaga, the Big Blue Lake, a place of healing and reflection. Today, when you stand at the shore and look out across the water, it's easy to understand why. The air smells of pine and snow. The mountains cradle the lake like a mirror. Time slows down here. You forget noise, screens, deadlines. It's just water, sky, and peace. Travel north through the desert heart of the state and you'll stumble upon Belmont, a ghost town that refuses to die. Once home to thousands of miners chasing silver dreams, now only a few remain. People who keep its memory alive. The old courthouse still stands, weathered but proud. The saloon still creaks when the wind blows. It's not wealth that keeps this place alive anymore. It's loyalty. A handful of locals who believe history should never fade, even if the world forgets. Keep driving east and the earth starts to break apart again. Suddenly the ground drops into a maze of spires and canyons. Cathedral Gorge. The clay walls here look alive, carved by wind and rain into sharp, delicate towers. The colors shift with the light, gold, pink, red, then gray. As you walk between them, the air cools and the world narrows into shadows. It's so quiet that even your breath seems loud. These walls have been forming for thousands of years, shaped grain by the slow persistence of nature. The longer you stay, the more you start to understand that this is what time looks like when it moves in slow motion. And finally, at the far northern edge of the state, the land opens up one last time into something vast and dreamlike, the Black Rock Desert. An endless expanse of cracked white earth that stretches farther than you can see. During the day, it feels like you're walking across the surface of another planet. At night, it turns into pure silence. This is where people come once a year for Burning Man, building a temporary city of art and music before leaving it all behind. And when they're gone, the desert erases every trace, returning to stillness. That's Nevada in a single image. Creation, collapse, rebirth. Driving away from Black Rock, the emptiness doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels sacred. You realize this isn't a barren wasteland. It's a living museum of earth and memory. Every ruin, every canyon, every shadowed valley tells the same story. That beauty doesn't need to shout. It waits for you to slow down and look closer. Nevada is a paradox. It's fire and ice, ruin and rebirth, noise and silence all at once. It's a place built on survival. By miners who chased gold through the dust, by builders who tamed rivers, by ancient tribes who read the stars. The desert keeps their secrets, but not forever. If you listen long enough, you can still hear them. The wind through the ghost towns. The hum of turbines under the dam. The echo of footsteps in the canyons. And when you finally leave, the silence follows you. It's not the kind that empties you, it fills you. Because once you've seen Nevada, once you've felt its quiet power, you understand something most people never do. The desert isn't lifeless. It's eternal. Subscribe to keep exploring the world's hidden history, one forgotten place at a time.